Architects, pull up your Eames chair, put on those black spectacles, and pour yourself a piping hot cup of strong black coffee because we're about to delve into unfiltered conversations with architects from all over the world discussing all things health and wellness. So if you're an architect that's been searching for more balance, more fulfillment, and more overall health and happiness, turn up your hearing aids just a notch because we've got the answers. I'm your host, Morgan Chihuaga, a licensed architect, stress management consultant, and founder of The Healthy Architect. Grab your trace paper and let's dive in. Hello, Katherine Serrano Sosa. Welcome to the Healthy Architect podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, Morgan. I'm a big fan of your Instagram account and now your podcast. So,
Yay.
yeah, it's exciting to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here too. So, for my listeners that don't know Katherine, she is the founder and principal architect of Rooted Architecture Studio. And how long have you been open, Katherine?
I celebrated my third anniversary July 1st.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah,
That is amazing. Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, it's a big one.
That's something to really be proud of.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're also a student in the Wellness Hub for Architects. So, have you taken any of those micro classes? And if you have, which ones are your favorite?
Yes, I've taken a couple live and I've done like one pre-recorded because, we get all busy. I love the chair yoga
Oh, yeah. That one's good.
and the breath work for sure. But I really want to dive into the nutrition as well because that's where I've been getting stuck
Hmm.
in my own like health journey.
Yeah.
It's always the nutrition.
That one's the hardest for me, the nutrition part. I mean, I can get up and walk, I can incorporate breath work, it's just part of my journey, but the nutrition has always been the hardest for me because I really love food.
Yeah, same. And I think for me, it's hard now because right out of college, it was weird. I went on a dual journey. Like I was doing the AREs while I was like working out to lose like a lot of weight. I had like a really big weight loss journey through my exams and then a little bit after. But then life happens, you gain a little bit more. And then once I started the company and I went full on my own, I became a little less physically active. So then I had to adjust. So I used to do macros counting, and that takes so much energy and time. So now it's learning what is the best way for nutrition for this season of life.
Yeah, I've got a meal plan and it's macro tracking as well, and I don't do it 100%, but on days that I'm like, "I really need to get back to that," I just go to my meal plan, it's on my refrigerator, and I'm like, "Okay, what am I gonna eat today? Like, what can I eat today?" But I'm a very simple person, like, I can eat plain chicken and just be okay with it.
Yeah, yeah. I meal prep lunches. So like it's already made. I just have to heat it up or put like the veggie and the protein together to make the plate. So I'm used to being able to like eat the same thing, but it's more of getting back to the discipline of, like you said, sticking to it and prepping the right food to be within that meal plan.
So tell me how you feel when you're eating, quote unquote, properly, like proper nutrition. Like, tell me how that impacts you.
I feel like when I'm getting like the right foods, like enough protein, and if I'm like eating enough carbs and fats, I feel so well energized. Like I don't feel the lack of energy dropping because like in the afternoon. Another thing is just like fitting in a snack throughout the day because I'm good with breakfast. I'm good with taking my lunch break, but I've been working on trying to be more disciplined on like a mid afternoon snack with like carrots or a few almonds just to pick up the energy. That's where it off tracks me.
Like that 2:30 slump?
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like around 3-ish. Yeah.
I think nutrition has really helped me be more energized as well and not as tired. What's your go-to snack right now?
Right now, carrots and almonds actually as like our side thing. I've
Yeah.
been I saw the video, the nutrition now that I think about it, one of the lives I saw is the nutrition video of talking about eating like the beef jerky. So I've been thinking about
Yeah.
purchasing some because I'm like, I need to fit in more protein in there.
The turkey jerky. Well, that's what I use, the Chomps turkey jerky.
Yeah.
Like, when I go for a snack, that's just one I grab. It's pretty good too, they're just expensive.
Yeah, it's figuring it out. And I eat a lot of Greek yogurt.
Oh, yeah. Do you just eat it plain or do you put something on it?
When I eat it for breakfast, I put a little bit of honey and some almonds. If I'm eating like I'm grabbing one in the afternoon
Mhm.
as a snack, I kind of just eat it plain.
How do you think that impacts your architecture? How do you think that impacts your job?
I think it's interlinked with like the self. So when I'm eating well, I feel like I can work out well. And for me, I've been work this year. I switched my workouts to the morning because then it energizes me to kind of like I pour to myself, then I can be like 100% me when I'm doing the work. So they're all interlinked. So the nutrition helps feed my workout or fill me up the body after I worked out and I need food and energy. So yeah, so I think it's a big benefit when everything's done right. I feel like I'm constantly like go go go, and then when something drops, that's where like all right, I need to readjust.
It's like all the dominoes fall. Yeah, you're very inspiring, just so you know, when you post your workouts on social media. It really inspires me, and I think it most likely inspires a lot of other architects as well. So can you tell us about your physical journey as an architect and, maybe some things that you've struggled with in your physical journey?
In college, in high school, I've always been like a heavy girl, like curvy girl, and in college, I got to my heaviest weight. Prior to college, I really wanted to start getting back in, but at first it was cardio, which was like not for me. I
Mhm.
graduated 2016 around holidays, Christmas. Started to get out of my like fear of being in the weight room and started doing weights. And I fell in love with lifting. And in 2017, I did my exams. So it was this like dual, I guess, journey of me learning how to get stronger physically, which empowered me through my exams because my life was work out, study, repeat. And I tell people because I'm part of Argentina, the Latina nonprofit that helps other Latinos get licensed. And my biggest advice to that was like, if you have your career goal, have a personal goal alongside, because then you don't pour everything into one. I think that helped me a lot. Like losing weight, like using those little micro like things helped me stay positive. So if I could only mentally study 30 minutes, I'm like, well, at least 30 minutes. That's like 30-minute workout, 15-minute workout, still good. So I was comparing them. Yeah, that was great together. And then after that, I actually got into powerlifting. I competed twice.
That's really cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, what'd you learn from competing? That's so cool.
Discipline. I think a lot of things that I've done is like learning how to apply discipline in a different way. I followed a lot of female lifters because it was weird kind of learning lifting. Like I was one like I need to do it myself so I wouldn't ask people around me. Though my brother, he's a lifter. He not a lifter, but he's done lifting for years because he was an athlete in school. I learned how to create a program, eat nutritiously, do the workouts, even if it was a little tired, just like adjusting the weights. But yeah, competing was nice, like being focused and determined. I think finishing the exams, also that fed into the exercise part too.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that because when you're working out, you're doing something really hard, right? And it kind of changes your mindset. You're like, if I can do one more rep. Like I can do one more. I can do one more. I can do one more. And it kind of is like that with the ARE as well. Like I can do this. I can do this. And it's okay if I fail. I'm just going to drop the weight a little bit and try again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, teaching you how like to listen to your body. And then it took me longer to apply it into architecture. Like listen to my body where it's like I can't focus instead of trying harder and harder. Let me get this finished. Now it's more my focus is like if I can't redline the set of drawings, let me pivot. What's another test I can do with the energy I have? So that's been a huge change.
Yeah, and so, like, let's put ourselves there. I totally understand where you're coming from. If you have these red lines that you have to get done, okay, and you're like, "I don't have the energy to do them." You just said you pivoted to another task. Well, when do you come back to those red lines? What's your strategy?
I look at my calendar and I see the next day. So like I see like if I need to redline, which I think it's gonna take say about an hour and a half, I have more of an admin task that I have put myself like a block for the next day. I'm like, I could do this. It's a little less like, I guess, heavy on the brain. So then I just swap it. But if I know I need to get the red lines done for my, I have two drafters who help me. So if I need to get it done for them, say for the next morning, I kind of, I learned to just take a 15-minute break and then do it the best I can. And sometimes I let them know I did the best I could in this hour. I might have to come back and add more red marks just so they know it's not like a final duel.
Yeah, I love that communication. I think that's really great. What do you do in those 15 minutes?
I'm a big water drinker. I've been for like so many years.
You wanna see my new water bottle right here? Look at this. I got it yesterday.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It's a gallon. That's the biggest water bottle I've ever had.
Yeah. I've been wanting to get one of those, but then I'm like, what if I have like meetings all day? I'm not gonna be carrying this big water bottle. But yeah, I'm big on water and I'm also like seltzer just because it gives it like that difference. I go grab some water, like just take a few minutes like in the kitchen, just like to grab water, maybe grab a carrot or two. And I do work from home, so it's easier to go to do that. And then some other times I just think of doing something like personal or I just sit there. Like I'm trying not to scroll on social media anymore, but that's a practice that needs to get done. But yeah, I just trying to just not think about work for those minutes and then recentering. And I like writing things down. So sometimes it's more so rewriting the tasks that are a must because like sometimes along the day things pop up. So I'm like, can I put this for tomorrow? Instead of like being stuck in my head, I'm like, I have to run line plus get to this.
Tell me a little bit about your routine, your health and wellness routine on a day-to-day.
I've been really focused on having a really good morning routine for myself, just so for like overall mental and physical health. When I wake up to go to the gym, I wake up like early around like 5:30, but I give myself time to kind of like slowly wake up, get ready. I go to the gym, I lift for about an hour, and then if I have the time, I go for like a 20-25 minute walk, do breakfast, and then shower and then journal. That's another big thing, dumping thoughts about journaling, and then I get to work. Like I start work at 9:30. So I really give myself a big morning chunk. If I don't go to the gym, I wake up a little later, but my non-negotiables are for sure journaling and I'm trying to fit in the walking now, but or at least putting in like maybe a few minutes of stretching or meditation. I don't do it all at once, but yeah.
All of those things make me feel so good. Every single one of those things. I wish more people knew the power of meditation.
I wish they knew that like even like just breathing for like and close your eyes for 2 to 5 minutes makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can get in those I go on walks a lot, and sometimes I get in these spaces where I get these reoccurring looping thoughts, and you can literally breathe through that
Yeah,
to change where your brain is going, to change the thoughts that are going through your head so that you can rest. Allow your brain to rest, right? I wish more architects used breath work and used meditation as a tool in their toolkit.
I agree. I think it's also like we're taught a certain way to be a certain way that it's hard to undo them. And like I've been doing a lot of personal and business development since the beginning of 2023. I think that's made the biggest shift of where I'm at now.
So, have you always incorporated meditation and breath work and journaling and physical movement, or is this something new for you?
Physical movement, as in like dedicate time to go work out, has been since like around 2016. I've been like pretty consistent, but though going on walks has been probably about 2 months. So I love nature, and I would put this weird limiting belief in my head that I have to go to a preserve or like a garden to do it. And then I just decided, I had this conversation with someone. They're like, why don't you just go around, walk around your like your neighborhood? There's nature there. There's trees. You live in suburbia. I'm like, you're right. Being aware of that kind of like was a big shift in terms of journaling. 2020, I started journaling a lot, which journaling led to me knowing that I needed to start my own company.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I wanna hear more about that. How did journaling lead to that? And also, before we get into that, Kayla Barco, she's teaching journaling classes in August in the Wellness Hub, so you're gonna be excited about that.
Yes. I'm always up for new methods. You can only do the same thing every so many times. But yeah, journaling. So, or when I guess around when well, everyone got very shifted when COVID began and everything was closed. And then for me, it was a blessing because I had more time because I was commuting to New York City. So I gained back 3 hours of my life.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And not that I didn't use my commuting as like beneficial. I was big on like podcasts or YouTube videos during like my train commute. But now that I had a little extra time, I kind of went into this personal space of like, what do I want? Where am I going? Really questioning just like, who is Catherine? Like, very philosophical. I started following people on YouTube that would talk about like spirituality and then journaling and just different methods of kind of figuring yourself out or even manifesting. And one of it was just writing out your wants and then creating a plan afterwards, like taking your time. And that was just fine. I did that. I'm gonna butcher this. That ikigai. It's a Japanese method of like multiple Venn diagrams of like what's your purpose. And when I started filling that out, I'm like, oh, what I need to do is like, I have to do it on my own terms because I haven't found the basis of Root Architecture Studios really to inform and really also help the Latino community in understanding like regulations, architecture, all of that, and other communities as well. So I realized where I was working wasn't fulfilling that. So then I'm like, let me start it. I did it for 6 months as like a side job. Then I went part time to fizzle out the projects I was project managing. And then since the beginning, February 1st of last year, I've been doing it full time. So it's been a progression of, I guess, falling into the purpose.
And I don't know if many people tell you this, Catherine, but from experience, that is not easy to do, right? It's scary. Well, tell me if you agree with me, but it's scary. That's a scary jump to take. But sometimes you get to a point where you're like, I have to take it, right? This is the same with the healthy architect, is I got to a point where I wasn't making the impact that I wanted to make on the architecture industry and the architecture community.
Yeah, for sure.
Same with Rooted.
Yeah,
So I congratulate you on stepping out of life and stepping out of the path that you were on to actually create something full of purpose and to make an impact on the world that wasn't there before you stepped out and created Rooted Architecture Studio. And I think a lot of people get stuck in just life happening to them instead of realizing that they're in control.
for sure. And it was scary. It still is scary. I think it was needed.
Yeah. Tell me about what you do with that emotion of it being scary.
I battle with anxiety, and I've been in therapy since the beginning of last year.
Mhm.
So when I said beginning of 2023 was literally, it was one of my like pinnacle moments in life where I just got to a mental low point where I'm like, I had a fear of therapists. So it got to the point where like, I need to get over that fear to heal other fears. Therapy really helped me learn tools to address my anxiety. And some of it was breathing and just taking a moving and being more present and mindful, creating neural pathways for what I'm used to. So that all kind of interlink with the fear. And that has been a big process. But also in terms of fears, I think now I got to a point where it's like I think of the why again. And like if it really is helping the why, then I just do it.
Yeah, can we talk about therapy? Because I feel like every time I hear the word therapy, I want to make sure that I say, in my opinion, therapy is amazing. Therapy is an underutilized tool. Therapy sometimes has a negative connotation around it, I think therapy is amazing. Therapy has helped me through a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it is that bad connotation that gave me that fear. Being an immigrant in the Latino community, therapy is usually seen as like, like that's like you whisper about it, like, oh, so and so's kid is in therapy. And my mom growing up had that, same mentality. Now she's a lot more open and happy that I'm in therapy, and my whole family has seen a huge shift in me. So they're like, okay, it's working. But I think it's also not giving up when you find a therapist. I got lucky. I think I was on my second person and where I felt comfortable. I know people who hop in between several until they find the one they feel comfortable.
Yes, absolutely. I've been to therapy, I don't know how many years. I would be scared to count, but I started in my adult life. I didn't go to therapy as a child, and I have 2 daughters, and I think it's amazing to go to therapy. I will always recommend therapy. It is just getting somebody's point of view that looks at the world a little differently and has tools to put in your toolbox, and honestly, I see therapy as a strength.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing that like has helped me a lot is that I had a lot of little traumas. I don't want to because there's the big T traumas, but little traumas along growing up that are not directly from your parents, but it helps you heal personal relationships, but then it also helps you then communicate better with professionally and friends. So learning that and just also learning confidence because me now to me like 1 to 2 years ago is a huge shift. I'm very introverted, but therapy has helped me to see my worth and my confidence, which has led me to then blossom in career and in other ways too.
Maybe you do know this, but my podcast listeners, after a podcast goes out, I have an influx of people that message me and say, "Thank you so much for that podcast episode. That has healed me. That has helped my healing journey." And we're only on what podcast episode number 5. I don't know what podcast episode you're going to be, but I just want to say thank you for being so open and transparent about talking about therapy and your journey because and I'll let you know how many comments I get back to me saying this has really helped. And it honestly just gives permission to people to go to therapy, right? And to see it as a strength and to see personal development help your professional development as well.
Yeah. And I think you talk about this a lot. That you need to pour to yourself and have those breathing moments to then actually like get the work done that you want to be. Like you are a better architect if you're a better individual.
Hey, tenfold, right? Tenfold. You have to pour into yourself first before you can pour into anybody else or anything else. Well, what would you tell a younger version of yourself? If you could go back in time and tell a younger version of yourself something, what would it be?
I It's funny. I actually have thought about this a few times and it shifts in when the mindset of things. I would tell her to keep dreaming because I was a big dreamer and but also to not get stuck in the needing to control things and the perfectionism because that was probably my Achilles heel. I'm still working on it, the letting go and embracing. I think to me, it's like embracing the trials and errors because the errors will teach you a lesson and you're still progressing. But if you don't try, then you're just stuck in the same point in the timeline in a way.
That's so good, Catherine. Tell me if you have the same experience, but we have this normalization in architecture that you're not supposed to fail. And to me, I'm never going to become the best version of myself unless I fail.
It's true. And I think in my path, because I finished all the exams on my first try.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, but other people like praise it. And I'm like, yes, but if I would go back, I would have rather failed it or taken it easier because I did them in 10 months. And when I said I worked out and studied. Literally, that was my life. And my anxiety and I have OCD too were at its worst during like college years and during my taking the exams. So now what I know now, I wish you could come back and like you can be healthier and more mentally like happy and still get it done in the time it needs to be taken.
Yeah, your finish line, I think sometimes we forget that the finish line is not moving and that you're gonna get past that finish line and to enjoy the process just a little bit more.
For sure.
Well, tell my followers where they can find you, Katherine.
You can find me on I'm mostly on Instagram out of all social medias. It's Katherine A. Serrano Sosa for my personal, and then my company is rooted_architecture. So if you want to learn more about my personal stuff, go to the personal one because I'm do a lot of videos about my life and being open because I want to be able to get over that fear of being in the public eye as well as be the person I wish I had when I was growing up.
Katherine, you are so inspirational. I think you are absolutely amazing. I applaud you for everything you've done, and it might look easy to some, but I know personally that it's not easy
Oh, thank
and that you are pushing forward and you are being a great example for other females, other architects, other Latinos in your community, and not only your community where you live, but also, I mean, everywhere in the world. So I appreciate you for taking that leap and being confident to take that leap and prioritizing your health and wellness during it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I thank you and appreciate you for taking that leap yourself because I think when I found you on social media for the first time, I was so excited and intrigued because like I was already like, going on a journey, but for me I always like having someone as a point of accountability. So or about even validation of like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing because you don't see too many people going that healthy like wellness route.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I've created this podcast is because I know that we need to be talking about it more in our industry. When I created this podcast, I just kept thinking of myself when I was in the architecture firm in the traditional role, working 24/7, my brain physically hurting and needing a break, but not feeling like I had permission to take a break. And a large part of that was internal, right? I'm not blaming anybody but myself, really. But for those architects that are in the architecture firm that are suffering right now, I want them to hear this podcast and see other architects like yourself that are basically giving them permission, not only giving them permission, but telling them, hey, you're going to be a better architect if you'd start taking care of yourself. And that's what you should do. That's exactly why this podcast is here. So we can help other architects. Because I also think that, I know that when you surround yourself by information like this and conversations like this and people like you on social media or in person, you become better. You become a better person and a better architect and a better human all around.
Yeah, it's so true. And yeah, I think it's like you kind of need to throw that pebble into the water to create that ripple effect.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part is throwing that pebble.
So true. But you're doing it. I think we're doing it. I think you're building a community that is really receptive and wants to like create the shift for the generations to come. So it's really amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast, Katherine. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Architects, this podcast is the culmination of the most creative minds in the world. The planning and programming of this content is extensive, and I'm proud to be a small part of the change that's happening in our profession. If you want to be a part of this change, the very best thank you you can give the Healthy Architect is giving us a 5-star review and sharing this episode with a colleague. When you give us a 5-star review and you share this podcast, you are playing a role in changing our industry one architect at a time. Be happy, be healthy, and take action towards a more fulfilling career. See you next week on the Healthy Architect Podcast.